Leaving the US didn't fix my life, but it changed me in some ways that genuinely surprised me. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't magically become healthier, but my relationship with my body, time, my possessions, other people shifted in ways I couldn't see while I was still there. Here's some of the ways that I changed since leaving. First is my relationship with my body. Now, this is everyone's favorite topic. You're asking yourself, will moving to another country and abandoning the standard American diet turn me into a supermodel? Well, the short answer is maybe. Now, personally, when I lived in the US, I didn't do a lot of walking, but I did do a lot of eating. Food is abundant. It's not exactly low calorie either. It's easy to come by, it's very convenient, and it's the worst foods that are the easiest to get. It's high calorie, it's inflammatory. I mean, it's just bad for you. When we arrived, we knew we'd be going through shoes because it was so easy for us to hit 10,000 steps a day. It took nothing for us to do that. Now that we're more settled, we don't walk as much as we did, but we still walk all the time. We walk to do everything. We walk to get groceries. We walk to pay our bills. We walk to go get coffee and meet friends. You walk for everything. This has made a huge difference for me and definitely for the better. I had a lot of body aches and pains, joint pain, back pain, knee pain, ankle pain. All of that stuff has dramatically improved or literally even just completely disappeared. Walking no longer feels like a chore either, and my clothes are hanging off me. Now, that's not gonna happen for everybody. One of our personal biggest goals when we did this was to find a walkable city and to be able to live without a car. If you plan to keep driving and eating fast food every day, you're probably not gonna really be able to relate to this one. Next is my relationship with time. I don't hear people talking about this one very much. Put simply, since I left, I feel calmer, I feel more relaxed, and I feel less rushed. In the States, everyone is always in a hurry. If you go to some kind of a business, you're gonna be treated with efficiency and not humanity. You're just another cog in the machine, and all you're responsible for is keeping time, and if you slow down, all you're gonna do is just disappoint and upset the rest of the machine. Before I left, someone that I know asked me, how do you expect you're gonna spend your time? And I said, I hope to spend it taking care of myself. I want to be walking to buy my food and spending time cooking. That's exactly what's happened, and it feels amazing. A lot of my time is spent doing chores, like going to the grocery store, or cooking, or doing laundry, or dishes. And we don't have a dishwasher or a dryer either, so you got a built-in motivation to stay on top of those chores because you don't want to let it go for too long and then have to catch up. The last thing that you want to do is have piles of laundry when you know every load has to hang dry. Honestly, it's actually a good opportunity to just practice some mindfulness. I'm just happy to not feel rushed anymore. Relationship with possessions. Coming from the hyper-materialistic American culture, this change felt enormous. Everything I care about now, aside from my beautiful wife, of course, can fit into a couple of suitcases. That didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen by accident. When we left, we owned a 3-bedroom house with a study and a 3-car garage. And at the time, I had a production company. That garage was full of PA gear. I had a trailer in there. We only had one bay open for one of our personal vehicles. Another personal vehicle had to sit in the driveway. And then I had a work truck that sat on the street. To say that we were living that hyper-materialistic American lifestyle would be an understatement. It took months of planning and marketplace listings and selling things before we could pare all that stuff down and just get it into a few suitcases and a backpack each. It was literally 8 suitcases and 2 backpacks to get all of our stuff that we brought here with us. But you know what? When we were finished, all I could feel was relief. I just had this powerful resolve to never acquire that much stuff ever again. Sometimes we would have some sort of a project and we would buy a tool and we would use it once, and then we would stick it on a shelf in the garage and it would sit there and gather dust for years, usually in the box that we bought it in. A lot of these tools that we ended up selling, they were in perfect condition, literally used one time. Since coming here, and especially since making friends, I don't even want to buy my own set of Allen wrenches. Literally, I borrowed some for some things I needed to do around the apartment, and it made so much more sense to me to just ask someone if I could borrow something for a couple of hours instead of spending money to own something that I don't need to own. In the US, people own things just for that simple convenience of, hey, maybe I'll need this again. You probably won't, but maybe you do, and you store it. Eventually, I learned that storing and maintaining these possessions was a lot costlier than I realized. For me, it's like a switch is flipped. I feel like I'm a lifelong minimalist and I never want to acquire that much stuff again. I had some complaints last week for a particular sound effect that I used at this part of my video. So this week, if you like this, please like and subscribe. Next is my relationship with people. This surprised me a lot more than I expected. When we left, I just assumed that I wasn't gonna have a lot of close relationships anymore. That was just gonna be a part of this, and I figured that was okay. I'd spent my life in the music industry, and I felt like I knew a lot of people, but I didn't really feel like I had a lot of close friends. At first, when we left, I felt more isolated, and I mean, it didn't surprise me, it's what I expected. But then something I didn't expect happened. I kept meeting amazing, driven, ambitious people. These were people that I genuinely admired. And it's not just surface level stuff. It's like this unspoken chemistry that you have with a person that you just immediately can feel that you're gonna be friends with. I would meet people in the US and I would rarely get that feeling. It happens to me all the time here. And interestingly enough, my social circle back in the US doesn't really feel that affected. The way that the lifestyle is set up there, we already didn't get to see each other in person very often. So a lot of those people I still talk and text with all the time. And because we didn't see each other much in the first place, it doesn't even really feel that different than it did. Overall, I feel like my patience, my openness, my tolerance, my genuine interest in other people has increased dramatically since I've come here. I just didn't see that coming. Now, this next one I didn't appreciate until it happened to me. I used to doom scroll. I mean, I still do, who doesn't? But it feels different now. Coupled with the job stress and the stress of owning and maintaining all your stuff and all the political tension, I was just overwhelmed constantly. I felt like I was just constantly redlining. I felt like I was just overwhelmed with that cortisol, that stress hormone, the one that ages you and makes you feel anxious. And I mean, there's a lot of gray in this period, and I don't think that's coincidental, especially for my age. And I was so used to that feeling, I didn't even realize that that's what was going on. I thought that was normal. Freak out was my baseline. I was constantly stressed, overwhelmed, feeling like I was at my limit. You know, once we got out of the lion's den, I was in disbelief how much better that I felt and how quickly that it happened. Like almost immediately, it just felt like a huge sense of relief just washed over me. They say hindsight is 20/20, and that is definitely true for anxiety. And you might not even realize how anxious you really are until you have a chance to get out of it and look back and see how you were behaving. I mean, I feel like I hadn't calmed down in 10 years. Life isn't perfect after leaving. I still get stressed, still get anxious. But you know, it's funny how it's shifted and the things that I'm worried and anxious about, it's a lot different. Like now I'm worried about what am I gonna cook for dinner today and do I have the ingredients to make that? I'm worried about renewing my passport and should I do that this month or next month? It's just really nice to be able to put that attention and that worry back into myself and my world instead of into an environment I feel like I really can't have much of an effect on anyway. I think this next one might be my personal favorite. Expectations of self. I found my ambition again. You know, I've been pretty ambitious most of my life and with some pretty good results. I've had a lot of lofty goals and I've managed to hit a lot of them. But the last several years I really felt like I stalled out. The only goal I really felt like I had was basically reaching a high enough net worth that my wife and I could escape the US economy. I didn't care about my health, my mental health. I didn't care about pursuing new passions or hobbies. And now that we're finally out, I find myself wanting to do things like make YouTube videos. I work out consistently. I go to my favorite coffee shop almost every day. I really enjoy offering help to the new friends that I've made since I've come here. I feel compelled to be empathetic. I have more patience, more understanding, especially with the people that I disagree with. In a lot of ways, I feel like the person I was when I was younger and frankly less jaded. I didn't see that coming. I was satisfied losing my ambition. Now that I'm doing this, it's my new favorite thing. It's been incredibly rewarding. I'm so thankful for everyone that's tuning in and watching. Thank you. It means the world to me. Okay, now for the reality check. This is not a silver bullet. Believe me, I get plenty of comments from people that tell me that I ruined my life and this is a terrible decision. How could I do this? And you know, for those people, it probably would be a terrible decision for them. So I understand that. If you want a giant car, if you want to drive everywhere, if you want to eat fast food for every meal, if you want that Amazon convenience, if you need a certain brand, if you're disagreeable or intolerant of other people and their worldviews that are different, you're probably going to have a bad time. I empathize with the people that think that this is a bad idea because for them it probably would be. I give up a lot. Convenience, my entire lifestyle, my favorite foods, and I'll be honest, I still think about Chipotle sometimes, but I did all that because I wanted to reprioritize. Leaving the US isn't going to solve all your problems, but you might be surprised how much your perspective will shift. How much your health may improve. Changing your behavior can be really tough, but if you change your environment, your mind will soon follow. Thanks for watching, and if you're thinking about leaving or rethinking your relationship with where you live, stick around for a while, and while you're here, check that out.